Okay.
Lightheaded? It's not like TikTok.
There we go. Okay, they can hear us. Okay, I'm going to turn this down.
They can hear us. Oh my god.
Woo! Okay.
This is exciting. This is exciting.
I'm so nervous.
Well, let's introduce ourselves.
From what I can tell, everyone here knows who we are. There's no new viewers yet, but who are you?
I'm Surya.
Okay.
I'm from TikTok. I don't know what to say.
Holy shit. TikTok head office is here? Hello?
I'm so nervous.
You were the one trying to talk me into this.
Okay. Sorry, I'm really nervous. This is a very different from TikTok Live. This is a lot more professional. In all honesty, I'm really grateful that Brendan asked me to do this with him. His YouTube channel is fantastic. He has a lot of reliable information, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this. And I think, we have a lot to share with you guys, and there's a lot of cool stuff coming out this winter. A lot of cool stuff coming out in these podcasts, and we're just really happy to bring this content to you. Both of us like collaborating. This is going to be a lot of fun, guys. We have a lot of cool stuff planned.
Mm-hmm. I'm Brendan, otherwise known as what, the Yeti? What do you call me in your TikTok video? Abominable stuff.
Look at him! Look at him!
I'm already self-conscious.
I know. Why does my forehead look like that?
I look so white.
I know what you guys talk about when you say my hair.
Oh my god. Okay, so I do see a comment I want to address. We should get Caden on the podcast. I thought about it, and the only reason Caden isn't going to be on the podcast is because he works at Wonderland. Mm-hmm. And Caden doesn't give me any information at all. He's just a ride operator. But I still don't want to get him in trouble. The difficult thing with being amusement insiders and Surya is we have privilege sometimes to information and stuff. And if we are discussing that in a stream and Caden's in it and he works at Wonderland, it could not be so great for him. So It's just better if he's not in the streams. That's the only reason. We might do streams where we just talk about other parks. Yeah. And he can be in that one.
Yeah, like any input or just like a third party perspective, or if we're just discussing, like Brendan said, other parks or, favorite coasters or top 10s or something. There's no reason why Caden or other people can't be involved in that either.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so the reason we are doing this, one, is for me to step outside my comfort zone. I've made a lot of promises on this channel. Like, I'm going to do this.
Yes,
I'm going to do that.
A lot of vlogs we're still waiting for.
Full honesty, and he can vouch for this. I've been going through the motions. I have not been the happiest for the last year. Last year. It's gotten pretty ugly, but I'm ready. I'm such a coward.
I wouldn't say no, you're not a coward. It's been a very interesting transition period, especially from the start of the summer to middle of the summer to like the end of the season to now. Brendan has really grown as a content creator and just as a person, as a friend, he's really growing, and we've really found our way, and we're really in this position now where we're in the right mindset to deliver you guys, the viewers, the best possible content that we think we can deliver. So that's where we're at right now, and that's the whole point of this podcast, really, is to bring you guys that content. Yeah,
so this is going to be professional for Surya and I, because we're not professional.
Well, I'm definitely... Brendan makes professional content. He makes professional content on YouTube. I make silly 15-second TikTok videos.
No, they're good though. But yeah, we're going to talk about industry news. This isn't just going to be about Wonderland. Today's is pretty Wonderland heavy, because most of you guys, our home park is Wonderland on Amusement Insiders. But we're going to talk about Dragster and El Toro Ryan's latest video that just came out. It's amazing. Got to go watch it. We watched it.
A lot of cool information there that no one, I think, knew except for El Toro Ryan. But he released a lot of cool information, and there's a lot of questions about that. So that's something we definitely need to address.
Yeah, and he's my favorite content creator. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Winterfest. We're going to talk about the 2023 season at Wonderland and Cedar Fair, in terms of their success, the rides at Wonderland, and then we're going to talk about the future at Wonderland. And we have some pretty interesting information, but yeah, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to try and answer questions. We have little intermission periods in here. Again, this is a podcast, so we have to stick to
the script.
The script. So, because we're going to try uploading it to Spotify and that. This is meant to be a test. The episode 1 is a test.
And we're actually debating whether or not we should do it live or pre-recorded. So
yeah,
in the future, we may change like the way we bring this to you guys. But I think so far this is going pretty good with it live.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
Like, I was nervous. Going live was last minute. Like, we were going to just sit down and record. And then I was like, okay, our first time recording, I know us. It could be awkward.
Yeah.
So having people chatting and holding us accountable
and if
good.
we get a little bit lost too, like you guys might bring up a question that can start new talking points and it could be really good, valuable input that the rest of the community may want to know.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, with that being said, go back up.
we have a script. Yeah, we have another screen on the side here that we're reading off of.
So we're going to cover industry news and rumors, and also with input from you guys. So Amusement Insiders on Instagram. I'm going to put up questions 5 days before we go. We're going to do this every weekend, by the way. Literally, we're going to hold ourselves, unless something happens.
We should also probably say like a time, like I think 9 p.m.'s work.
Yeah,
like 9 to 10:30.
Does 9 p.m. on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday work for everyone?
You put up.
Yeah, I guess we can ask, but we'll do. But yeah, and then we're gonna try to become more professional and regular. That's something I struggle with. This is my New Year's resolution. I make promises to my audience that I do not keep because depression causes you to be lazy. Like, you get lazy and I constantly make promises. And the reason I make promises is to kind of bring myself out of depression. But then it's a vicious cycle because then I let down you guys and then I let down myself and then I get stuck in it. So we're going to hold ourselves. Sarah's going to hold me account because I almost...
I swear to God, like, I think, I don't know. He didn't say anything, but I had this gut feeling like, you know what? I don't know if we're going to do this today because we were sitting here. We did a game night and... You know, we're all tired and we're like, oh, what are we going to do now? And I'm like, well, shouldn't we do the podcast? And it's like, oh. And I'm like, and then I read his story. He's like, it's coming out next week for sure. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, no, because if we were going to film it not live, I have to edit it, right?
That's true.
Whereas live, so I don't have to edit it. So I was saying next weekend we were going to film it and thing, but I think I was heading down a direction. I think you were,
yep.
Of chickening out because I don't like the way. One, I don't like the way I look. Two, I don't feel comfortable putting myself out there. You already know that, but I'm working on it. But let's get on track, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Winterfest. If you guys have, and please don't give money, but if you do a super chat, I feel horrible for even saying this. We are going to answer the question right away. That's just how YouTube works. So if you have a really important question, a super chat, if I see that, because what it does is it sends like on our, if you guys could see how our screen looks right now, we're not on YouTube. We're on like almost like an OBS studio. The super chats appear in this big color box, and it forces us to answer them.
So I just want to say this is a totally new thing for me because I know nothing about YouTube. Prior to right now, I was strictly TikTok. So to me, this is like really professional. This is really cool. So I'm definitely learning a lot. And Brendan, he kind of knows what he's doing, but this is a learning curve for us. So if you see something that might be kind of doesn't make sense or anything, like if we're off to the side trying to fiddle with something, that's why. It's because we're still learning.
I like that comment. I'm just going to say it. Roller coasters don't do well off the rails. Stay on track.
That is good.
So our first topic is going to be Winterfest. I wanted to talk about this so bad because it's been an ongoing discussion in our friend group. Winterfest at Wonderland this year, for anyone that attended, was a flop. A major flop. I don't care what anyone at Wonderland has to say. I don't care what any enthusiast. It was a flop. The attendance numbers were not there.
We were even kind of pretty much told that indirectly by certain.
Yeah.
Yep.
The attendance numbers weren't there. And I don't think it's a failure. It's not a failure. Anyone working at the park, like anyone in a higher up position, this is an attack on them. There's multitude of reasons. I think Cedar Fair is to blame for a lot of this. Well, I'm not sure who at the end makes a lot of the decisions in terms of investment, but one of the biggest failures I think we could agree on is Wonderland has to invest in stuff every year to draw in attendance. Winterfest hasn't really seen the same kind of treatment where there's something new,
100%.
like something major new to draw in those new crowds every year. So it's been a copy and paste event, and I think it's starting to show that they need to treat Winterfest in a similar fashion.
So it's not that we're saying it's bad. However, for the last 3 seasons, 2019, last year, and this year, it's been kind of stagnant. You know, there hasn't really been anything new. They've brought back certain things like Tinkers, which is really nice, but at the end of the day, all that stuff was already pre-existing. Another thing is that the other Cedar Fair parks that participate in Winterfest, like Kings Island, Carowinds, Kings Dominion, they all had newer things that they've never seen before added to them. I think Kings Island had a tubing hill. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what? Whatever you think of it, it's something new. You know, maybe it's gimmicky, but again, it's new, it's catchy, and I think that would be quite successful. Just because they can market it as something new, it's something else that you could do at the event.
Yeah, 100%. Like the other parks have what? A parade. Some of them, not all of them. They have parades.
Kings Island and Kings Dominion do the parades.
And Carowinds too. So the parades, they have the tubing hills. Some of them. There's the other thing that we kept discussing that they have that we don't have.
Okay, so this might be kind of going into another point that we'll discuss a little bit later, but then they also have things like the rides, which...
I'm going to call this one out too, because this brings me to that topic I was discussing about. Wonderland's success is now their biggest failure. So Wonderland this season was so busy. Oh my God, the energy drinks caused me to burp. It was so busy, like so busy that I think now that people are kind of turned off from going to Wonderland. They view Wonderland kind of like you're going to wait an hour and a half for food, which is, it sounds like an over-exaggeration, but it's not.
In some cases, it was true. You'd wait an hour and a half for food. You know, you'd get there and you'd find they'd run out of stuff. Again, this is not the park's fault. This is really, you know, it was it's like a whole chain of events, right, that happened. And unfortunately, it did turn off a lot of people, especially like, you look at Winterfest target demographic, and it's more families and couples. Well, if a family of 4 went to Wonderland in the summer and they had an experience where they paid, you know, the prices to get in, and then you wait an hour and a half for food, you don't necessarily get what you want, you maybe ride 3 rides in a full 12-hour day, well, you might not necessarily want to come back, even though Winterfest is different. But to that family of 4 who might not necessarily know too much or care to know too much about the park, they just want to go there for the experience, they won't know that, right? So they're going to have that image of, well, you know, we went there in the summer and we had to wait 3 hours to do this and this, so we don't, what's the point of going back? Mm-hmm. When in reality for Winterfest, that's not necessarily the case, and actually wasn't.
Yeah, 100%. And they did have a curse of a lot of bad weather at the beginning, but even when the weather got nicer, there wasn't really a translation into large crowds like we saw in 2019, 2021.
No, there wasn't. And again, like there I think maybe, so a lot of all the other Cedar Fair parks, we were the only park during Winterfest to have the schedule that we have, but from Monday to Friday, basically Monday to Thursday or Saturday and Sunday, the park was 3 to 9, but on Friday was 5 to 10. To us, and we've discussed this so much, this is probably the thing we discuss the most, 5 to 10 makes sense. You know, you get off work, you get off school, you can staff the park, then you go to the park during night, right? There's nothing to see during the day. Like, you can't really look at lights, you know, the shows, everything is prettier at night. Winterfest is an evening night event. So why were they open from 3 to 9? Mm-hmm. Like, we found that most people came to the park
at 5.
At 5 for tree lighting.
Yeah. So I think that's something that can change for next year. But one of the... what was I just going to say? It had to do with a failure. It was the time frame of the event is a failure. I also think... Let's go... Okay, I'll remember. Let's go on to what we like. So what did we like about Winterfest?
The biggest thing that I liked, and don't laugh, you guys aren't allowed to laugh, and he liked it too. No,
okay.
The food.
Oh, okay,
the food.
Yes,
food. And I know, it sounds funny coming from us, but whatever, the summer is the summer, past is the past, whatever our opinions were on the food, it pretty much did a full 180. Like, Wonderland they put such an effort into the Winterfest seasonal menu. It was incredible. You know, the menu items at Lazy Bear, all the other festive foods, you know, the service was a lot faster. Like they really did a great job putting everything together, and they did such an improvement compared to the summer season. It was incredible. So that was something that I was pretty much blown away from. Like, we went to having some of the, in my opinion, the worst food in the Cedar Fair chain and the worst service in the Cedar Fair chain, to probably having some of the best quality food and best service in the Cedar Fair chain within a span of 3 weeks. To me, that just blew my mind.
100%. I figured out what I was going to talk about. So one of the biggest failures, and this is a huge failure on Wonderland's part, we know how many season pass holders got gold passes in 2023. I think we accidentally learned that. We weren't supposed to know. But we know that currently, before Winterfest even ended, that there were 500,000 2023 gold passes.
Just gold passes.
Just gold passes for Canada's Wonderland alone. You have people with 2023 gold passes that should be getting them into Winterfest in 2022 for free. And it wasn't translating. So to me, that's something wasn't working to get people in. So again, part of the failures is there needs to be more indoor things, because Lazy Bear Lodge was always packed to the brim. Like, it could be a slow day and it looked busy sometimes at Lazy Bear Lodge. All the heating zones were packed. The market was pretty packed.
Yeah.
Tinkers was packed.
They were turning people away.
So if Wonderland really wants to become a winter attraction, they need more indoor attractions, which we'll discuss that in the future editions, because I have a lot to say there.
That is a good comment. Their radio ad was crap. I think Wonderland kind of dropped the ball too on Winterfest marketing.
Yukon Striker, that would be like, that's obviously one of our goals. We talked about that already, having like guests on. So like, obviously we would love to have, and we can organize that. We can have like, I can insert thinged. Just to explain that, we're not gonna have Grace Peacock in my in my basement on the street. Can you imagine?
I'm sure that's exactly what she wants to do.
She's like, "This is how you live."
So this is where the magic happens.
Obviously, that's our goal. That'd be really cool. Right now, obviously, because Surya and I have made the decision to be a lot more vocal on Wonderland and leak things as we feel, to a certain extent. I'm obviously going to respect some rules that Wonderland set for me. We're not quite sure Wonderland would be on here. Our goal is to obviously... So our goal, just to be transparent, I know that they might watch this. Our goal is to honestly sit down with Grace and some people at Wonderland and kind of, we're willing to work in some boundaries and be safe still, but we either need them to provide us with like behind the scenes stuff, like some content, otherwise we are being held to a standard to keep our channel dead. So we're not being allowed to post things, but we're also not being given behind the scenes access or cool videos. Then that's really just keeping our channel dead. So we're obviously like, there's certain things we will never post regardless. Like, there's information we know that obviously we'll just keep our mouth shut on, and we're going to respect that. But we're going to start posting a lot more, focusing on ourselves.
And you guys, like the viewers, right? Like we want to be more transparent and honest and actually do journalism, like report news, not just report, only the good. Like, to make an informed decision and whether or not you want to go there, you should have all the facts.
Exactly. Yeah, because just to be a little more transparent, I got in trouble for my restaurant video, my feedback on the restaurant industry at Wonderland, and I don't respect that decision. I don't feel like I was respected or treated fairly in the reaction I got to my restaurant video. And it kind of upset me, and I'm now in a position where I'm like, okay, well, I don't get any cool stuff for my viewers, and my channel is a really healthy size, and I'm not allowed to post X, Y, and Z, but I'm also not given X, Y, and Z to compensate for not posting X, Y, and Z. So there's no benefit to me. So at this point, I would like Wonderland and Surya and I to sit down and kind of go over like our feelings and their feelings too, and come up with a plan. That's my goal, and I plan on reaching out in spring, but it'd be awesome if they even reached out. I feel like there's kind of like a little awkward gray zone between us now, and
I think the Thunder Run video really
well, that was my why we posted the Thunder Run video. I had a plan for it, But yeah, and this is my sign to you guys that I'm being transparent. Like, you know, that's a really risky thing for us to be saying.
Yeah.
Like, but again, we're at the point where if we have nothing to benefit from, you know, kissing Wonderland's butt, then why should we kiss Wonderland's butt?
Not even that. It's almost like, obviously we're not, but it's almost like when we go to the park and you know, we're almost, I can say a mystery. Anyways.
Woo! We'll talk on Marineland probably next weekend. I can talk about Marineland, by the way. I'm not allowed to talk about Marineland. Are you entitled to have content from them?
Are you well, I think at this point you definitely are, because you have the platform and you were getting content in previous years.
There were previous agreements and stuff, and I feel like because of my restaurant video,
that might have and you know, you were getting honored those agreements before, right? Like you got some Yukon behind the scenes stuff, you got other media events and stuff, like other privileged information. So something definitely happened, and I'm sure it was the restaurant video.
Yeah. But it was because the email. But that being said, I don't feel entitled, but with what we know on Wonderland and we are told to not talk about, I do feel like there is an entitlement that we should receive benefits for, like, you know what I mean? Like, even I had so just to say, I had drone footage of the fire, on the water slide after the fireworks. I have like cool drone footage, and the park had said, you know, we would like you not to post it. You can post it, but we'd like you not to post it. So I didn't post it, and that was my sign of respect. So like when I do stuff like that, I kind of just would like,
well, something like, you know, it's almost like, you know, well, we did you a favor, maybe if you could just give us this or something like that, right? Like if we could see a tour or something.
Yeah. Okay. So did we talk about what we like about Winterfest?
Oh, no, we didn't.
Oh my god, we derailed.
We derailed. No, we started to. I mentioned the food, and then
the
food. So okay, that was my like. What was your like?
Tinkers. So I think Tinkers really stands out in terms of entertainment, especially at Cedar Fair. I think it's Cedar Fair's best show. I think it's the best seasonal show. So again, gives you permission to not pass. Okay, I'm reading comments. I said we'd do that at intermission. So I like Tinkers. I like the shows. I like Heather. She's in charge of operations. She does a phenomenal job. That woman deserves so much recognition for her involvement at Wonderland and her decision making. She is amazing. That park will literally fall apart without her. Like, it will. Like, if she ever retires or quits or thing, that park is not going to be the same. I'm just going to warn y'all. But yeah, what would we like to see? What would you like to see, Surya?
So, personally, from my personal standpoint, I would like to see maybe a couple more attractions added to the ride roster, Winterfest. Now, I understand why some attractions can't be open, but I think if, you know, they make a few simple modifications, some attractions may be able to be opened. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe like Lumberjack, you know, if they can install some kind of non-slip coating similar to what they did on Cyclone, something like that. I would love to see what Kings Island got in terms of the snow tube hill. I think that's really cool. I would personally do that. I love that kind of stuff. Maybe another thing is, I have no problems with the shows. Again, I think Wonderland, Winterfest shows are some of the best shows, maybe even in the whole industry. But certain shows have been pretty much the same ever since Winterfest started, so it would be nice to see a different program. And again, not saying anything bad at all, because they are amazing shows, they are talented people. It's nothing like that. But it has been the same thing for the past 3 years, and I do think it's getting a little stagnant. So to see different musical numbers, different types of shows, stuff like that, I think that would be really beneficial.
Yeah. I think that Wonderland's Winterfest has become a little too traditional and outdated. For example, what's the show called that's right near Thunder Run with the three girls? The Carol.
Yes. Mistletones.
Mistletones. Like, I love the singers. I like, especially one of them, you know, so talented, but that is so outdated and no one watches it. No one watches it. That needs to go, and they need to be. I think that they should be a little more modern.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe a little less religious. Like, I found it a little religious. If you pay attention here and there, there's a lot of God bless yous and thing, and which is fine, to each their own. But Wonderland is in a very diverse market.
Yeah.
Like a very diverse market. So, remember my idea? I think that Wonderland should have like a Christmas themed area, a Diwali themed area.
Diwali, maybe like Hanukkah. Or
Hanukkah themed area, like actual areas of the park that are themed to the diverse holidays around the season. I think that would do phenomenal. Even though I just said less religion, that's thing, but that's a different route they could go down. Or it should just be Winterfest. Like Winterfest. Still have the Christmas music, but I would like to see more diverse shows, like you said. Get rid of some of those classic. Like there's even carolers in Planet Snoopy that are terrible. Like not them, but just like no, like in the kids area, you should have more of like you have that kids fest that they do so well at.
Yeah.
Do another version of that in Winterfest. Yeah. Like there's so many different things they could do, and Winterfest just feels a little too traditional now, and a little boring almost. Like
I think that also goes back though. It's been the same thing almost for 3 years.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, it is still a fairly new event for Wonderland and Cedar Fair, so I can understand. And there was COVID, so there was a year where nothing happened, so maybe they're still trying to figure out the direction they want to take it in. They're trying to figure out what their demographic is and stuff like that.
Yeah. I feel like almost Wonderland should play a little more into comedy. Like, Tinkers does really well because it's, one, both comedic, and two, it's fresh, and it's like an actual...
it's like an original piece.
Yeah. So, what... Okay, so Surya's gonna talk about something really cool for you guys. I'm actually really excited. He did a lot of research because, one, he's an engineer and he knows where to look for certain things, so he has an answer for you. But I'm gonna talk about a little rumor about what could be coming to Winterfest next year. There are still some contracts that potentially need to be signed for this, but Whitewater Canyon.
It's exciting.
Yeah, if this happens, nothing's confirmed yet, and I probably shouldn't be talking about this, but Wonderland could potentially be looking at signing a contract to have the company that does the ice rink at the front do an ice skating trail in Whitewater Canyon. That would be expensive, though. It's like $4 million estimated.
But that would also be unique, something the other parks don't have.
Yeah, and ice trails draw people in, like look, Blue Mountain and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
And then imagine all the trees in Whitewater Canyon lit up.
Lights.
It would be
so nice.
Perfect. Which comes down to, $4 million is the price tag we heard that Wonderland was being quoted on for that. So that it is an expensive addition. That's like a flat ride in itself.
Yeah.
But again, they need to treat Winterfest as if they need to add that thing. And Winterfest draws in the numbers. Like 2019, it was paying for a ride itself. So they have the ability.
And ice skating was one of the most popular things this season. Like, the ice was always packed. It was always booked out. So it would make sense to open up more skating options. Yeah.
And you guys are hearing this first. I haven't made my video on this. I was going to make a video on this, but I've been too lazy. Again, I'm going to start making videos because I have tea.
Yes, he is.
I have tea. I have tea to share, and I'm going to start sharing it. Tubing is also rumored to be coming to Canada's Wonderland in 2023's Winterfest.
Fingers crossed.
So hopefully that happens. I do think it's going to be one of those stupid little tubing man-made things, but we'll see. We'll see.
It's different. It's something new.
Why didn't they have a New Year's party? I'm going to answer this because it's a good question. It's staffing. Simply staffing. They tried. So what Wonderland does is, we know a lot. The more I sit down, I'm like, we actually know everything. Not to sound cocky, but I'm like, the fact that we know this. So Wonderland, what they do is they do like a pre-sign up for events like Winterfest and all that. And people submit their availability. When it came to New Year's Eve, no one was available to work. Obviously, no one wanted to. And for stuff like that, it is volunteer-based. You can't force someone to come in on New Year's Eve night until 12 a.m. to work if they really do have plans.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of stores close at 5, 6 p.m. on New Year's Eve.
Holiday.
So Wonderland will never be open New Year's Eve unless they have a J1 visa program. Right? Yeah. They will never be able to open on New Year's Eve unless they offer like an insane amount of money, like double time and a half or something.
Which I personally can't see Wonderland going that route.
But yeah. Winterfest. What? Surya's going to take over for however long. This is going to be a good one. This is good. You guys are going to like this. Why can't certain rides run during Winterfest?
So the biggest thing, anyone probably asks and we always see, is how come, Leviathan, Behemoth, Yukon isn't open? How come no roller coasters are open? How come, Windseeker isn't open? Why aren't these rides open? So there are several reasons for that. One, obviously, things don't always run properly in the cold. So you have to retrofit a lot of things. The park might not want to do that. But the biggest thing is, and this is going to be a little bit complicated, but after doing some digging, there are certain legislations in the province of Ontario and within our national building code that don't allow certain amusement attractions to run under certain temperatures for certain reasons. Now, there's nothing that specifically says this roller coaster cannot run, but under OREG 221-01, if you look that up, it's about a 40-page document. That's the provincial legislation behind amusement devices. It's an entire legislative document, legally binding document, that specifically says there are sections under the maintenance section. I think that's like subsection 3 or subsection 4. You can look this up. That state any amusement device operated in the province of Ontario has to be operated under safe operating parameters and operated under parameters devised by the ride's manufacturer. What does that mean? So a lot of ride manufacturers specifically set their own operating parameters. For example, B&M, the temperature has to be above 5 degrees Celsius when the ride first starts running. Now, obviously with certain things, you can change that, but you need permission from the manufacturer, and this is according to OREG 221-1, that if you want to open a certain attraction, the manufacturer has to sign off on it. And not only does the manufacturer have to sign off, the TSSA, which is another legislative body, then has to come in and do their own third-party independent investigation to make sure that everything is safe. And under the TSSA Act of 2001, Amusement Device Operating Act, that's something else you can look up. It's actually a very interesting document. There are certain things that warn about ice buildup, that warn about, there's nothing specifically against frostbite or anything, but that is also a problem, right? Like if it's -10, it's going to be cold. But the biggest problem is the ice, right? They don't want any ice chunks flying off, hitting vulnerable components like wheel carriers, cables, chains, anything like that. So in order for them to run a ride, under any condition actually, even in rain, a manufacturer has to sign off if it's raining, they need manufacturer approval. Why do they need manufacturer approval? Because the manufacturers who build it, they're licensed engineers, they're licensed mechanical, structural, civil, they have their own legal department, so they know the parameters their rides can run in, and you need that license, you need that official title to sign off on their design. So they can say, you know what, Leviathan is not supposed to regularly run under 5 degrees Celsius, but we gave you wheel heaters, you have weighted trains, so now you can run maybe in -1, let's say, but the train needs to start running at -1. So let's say it's -1, they get it going, then the temperature drops to like -5, 6, it can still run. But if it's -6, B&M will say, no, it is not safe, that train will not make it, there's a risk of ice buildup, you cannot run that ride. Now, normally, depending where you are, because other places in the States, they can get around that because they don't have legislation. They legally don't need to listen to the manufacturer. But in Ontario, according to OREG 221-1, you legally are obligated and binded to listen to whatever the manufacturer states. Because even though you own the ride, they still set the operating parameters to said ride. So I know that was a big mouthful, but
no, it was good.
It is a very important aspect and safety, and it is one of the reasons why Wonderland has an almost perfect safety record when it comes to rides. You always see these stories, and it's really unfortunate in the amusement industry, but in the States, of things malfunctioning or sensors being tampered with because they don't have the same regulations we do. So yeah, it may look really cool that, Six Flags gets to run Nitro, or they can run Fury or whatever they want, and I'm not saying it's unsafe, but in Ontario, in Canada, we have an extra degree of safety that a lot of places don't have. And that extra degree of safety is the reason why Wonderland and other, amusement attractions. It's not only for amusement parks. It's like zip lining, bungee jumping, everything like that. But that's the reason why we have such a high safety record. And I would personally take that safety record over riding a roller coaster, for 2 extra months of the year.
That's a lot coming from him.
That's a lot
coming from him. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about that people asked in here. I know I said I was going to answer any of these until question period, but you guys are asking really good stuff. So someone said, and I wanted your opinion on this, riding a coaster in -1 is dangerous due to frostbite. This is something I've thought about too. Is it actually? Would it could cause frostbite, could it not? Some of those days?
We've personally rode in -1 before. If you remember, I believe it was 2019 during Halloween Haunt. There was an ice storm, and the park was closed in the morning and afternoon, but opened up for Haunt. Well, the temperature went about -2 and 3, and we were fine. I know Six Flags Great Adventure, they run their hypercoaster Nitro in like -5, -6. Again, that's because they don't have that legislation, so they can do literally whatever they want. I don't know anyone who's gotten frostbite. Now, I know if it's like -10 or -15, like, yeah, like, you can get frostbite if you stand outside, right, in just a sweater. So there is that safety factor. However, in -1, if you're appropriately dressed, I would say you're probably going to be okay.
All right, and Natalie says there are other things like and she's a nurse, if you remember, respiratory and asthma triggers as well. Actually, that's true, because even after having, whatever, we're not going to discuss that, but the cold air affects your lungs.
So, again, because I don't medically know too much, so I'm glad for your input as a registered nurse. That's very valuable input, but I know there are certain warnings and stuff the park is obligated to provide, like, you can't ride, Leviathan or a certain ride if you have, this and this and this parameters. Legally, I don't think that abstains them, but they are publicly saying, hey, you know what, if you do have asthmatic problems, if you have breathing problems, if you have heart problems, you shouldn't be riding this attraction.
I'm just laughing at what someone said in there. Lick the track.
Get your tongue stuck on the track.
You would do that.
I would do
Heather
that.
Hills walking up to the ride. It's Syria, isn't it?
But yeah, if you guys want to look this up, it's o.reg.221-01, and that's amusement devices for the province of Ontario. It's about a 40-page document. It is provincial legislation, and it even goes into how to maintain a chain, what type of inspections to do, what type of measurements. Did you know the park has to do measurements every 6 months on each lift chain to make sure that parts are wearing out uniformly so there's no cracks or anything? Now, B&M designs, or roller coaster manufacturers design safety mechanisms that do that, but this standard means that they have to double check that, and that's part of the really strict but incredibly safety standards that we have, and that's, again, one of the reasons why, nothing tragic has happened, right? So it is all about a factor of safety. Are the reason our safety record in the amusement park industry is so clean, but most accidents that happen in America. So a lot of accidents that actually happen in the amusement industry are not because of the ride, they're because of neglect. Or they're because of someone tampering with something. Now, I don't want to go into it too much because, unfortunately, it is a tragedy and it does put a black mark on the industry. But, for example, what happened in Orlando with the free fall, it's a big tragedy. It should never have happened, but it happened because somebody tampered with a safety mechanism, which in Canada is a federal crime. These documents state that is a federal crime. You're liable for whatever happens, right? But the reason that safety mechanism is there is to prevent something from happening. So if you tamper with a safety mechanism, that's not the ride. That's the way the operations are for that specific location. But these regulations help ensure nothing like that can happen here.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Sandwich actually posted something you'd like. So he's saying that actually frostbite wouldn't be a major concern at all in rides. With
so I don't think frostbite. I agree. I don't know too much about frostbite, but I know personally we've all ridden in really cold and been for the most part okay.
You know what? We should have talked about Vortex. We'll add Vortex to next weekend.
Okay.
Because that'll be good. We need something good every week. So we'll talk about Vortex and what we know now next weekend, because I do have an update on that. Dragster. Okay, topic 3, Dragster. Woo! Okay, so El Toro Ryan's latest video discussed the queue line, Zamperla, the technology, and it being 2024. So, yeah, do you have any comments about the video we watched today? It's a great video, by the way.
First of all, I don't really watch roller coaster videos or YouTubers or anything, but El Toro Ryan. No! El Toro Ryan really puts a lot of effort. Not saying other people don't. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when he creates a video, he definitely creates a video with all the facts that he knows and he believes to be true. And I think most of the time they are true, right? Like,
yeah, he's good.
Like he's a reputable source. So the biggest thing that I took away from his video that I found interesting was the launch technology and what Zamperla claims they can do. And El Toro Ryan in the video did do the math, did do the numbers. I didn't really pay attention, but I trust him. He seems to know what he's talking about. And if it is true where Zamperla can actually launch a train to 200 kilometers per hour within that 550 plus or minus 20 feet section of track, I think it's completely possible, or it's probably happening that Zamperla is going to do that. My biggest thing, though, is to see the train design. If Zamperla does that, I want to see how they're going to design the trains.
I'm kind of excited for the trains. I hope it's epic. Like, I hope Cedar Fair was like, okay, a major attraction at Cedar Point that draws in a lot of people has failed. And now to draw in more people, we need to relaunch it with, like, the most epic, iconic look, design. Like, I hope they go all out. Like, all out. Like, I hope the trains are, like, you know, Velocicoaster's trains? I hope it's something like... I hope Dragster theme is gone, too. Like, I know...
That name is gone, though, because they scrubbed that name, right? Like, all the Dragster merch and everything, it's gone.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I hope it's a whole new theme.
Yeah, you didn't
like, I hope it's almost themed around, like, Thunder... You know, Thunderbird? I hope it's something to do with, like, lightning or electricity, something cool.
They can do effects with.
Yeah, and you can have, like, a sick lighting package on the... Oh!
But, yeah, I think... You know, Dragster, he also mentioned 2024. I personally believed, I think we always believed it was 2024, because one, they already announced 2023, and it seems like Dragster is going to be a big project. Like, if I had to guess, I would say over $20 million with the rebuilding, retheming, you know, getting the new trains, getting the new technology, and, like, that's going to be expensive. So they're definitely going to market that as a brand new attraction, and they've kind of already hinted at it, right? Dragster reimagined. Like, Dragster is dead. That ride doesn't exist anymore. The name is gone, so they're bringing something else in.
So sad.
I am heartbroken. On a personal note, I don't think an LSM will ever be as good as it.
Someone actually just said that. So I do wish they would have just kept the coaster the same and just covered the queue, because LSMs aren't nearly as punchy as hydraulics. It won't be nearly as intense. So
that is exactly my thought. With today's technology in 2023, unfortunately, LSM cannot simulate that same amount of force as a hydraulic cable can, because it doesn't have that same amount of power output. Like, you're still going to go 200 kilometers an hour, but it's going to be more smooth. It's going to be smoother. It's not going to be like, bam, you're thrown back. It's going to be like more gradual, but consistent.
Mm-hmm. So what would you like to see on the Zamperla, or what do you call it, Dragster?
So I'm honestly thinking Red Force, but 80 feet taller. Obviously, I'm sad the cable is going, because that was my favorite launch, cable hydraulic. But if Zamperla can actually do this, I think that's going to open up a whole new chapter in the amusement industry, because, like, you have a company that literally went from making Time Warp to launching a train to 200 kilometers an hour in 4 seconds. Just think about that. Think about that technological jump. Like, I think this could open so many more doors and opportunities to different designs, working with different parks, being more in demand. So I think that aspect is exciting if Zamperla can properly pull this off. I do want to say one last thing that I am fearful for is King Dakar. If that ends up working for Dragster, I give it 3 years before King Dakar gets the same retrofit, which will make me cry.
Yeah. I just want to see lighting package. Like, lighting package. Trains, like lighting package. It's your most out there attraction.
Well, Brendan actually pointed this out a lot when we were at Cedar Point, that the markers and everything, they were everywhere, and that can't just be for one ride, right? So you actually brought up the idea of maybe a whole new themed area or a themed section to that part of the park.
It seems like Cedar Fair is trying to become like a destination there now. The Wild Mouse has me a little confused about that. I don't care what Cedar Point and Cedar Fair say about that Wild Mouse. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
The cheese
Oh my goodness! You build it right next to your beautiful restaurant. You could have gone with a what do you call that? A same color tone.
You wouldn't even need a roller coaster there. You could have just kept it open, maybe some green space or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like they need more rides. I get because Cedar Point needs something. They needed something fill. But you could have even just color tone wise made it blend in. I hate the Ferris wheel color there too. I hate Delirium's color scheme there too. I hate the colors. Like it's so tacky, and I think that's why I hate Cedar Point. I love Cedar Point, but I hate Cedar Point. I feel it's just like
they're like shoving it all.
Yes, it's just in your face. I hate the games up in that. Oh, I hate everything.
I mean, I'm sure Cedar Point, though, is probably going through they are going through a transition period. Look at the restaurants they just got, right?
Mm-hmm. Guys, we'll talk about Marineland. I keep seeing Marineland. We'll talk about Marineland on next week's episode because, again, we have more. I do have something to talk about. The lawsuits are all settled, so we can start talking about the buyers. That's what the buyers were waiting on. So, yeah. A sound package would be cool. I think Cedar Point's at that point now where they could have a longer ride like Velocicoaster. They could invest. I think Cedar Point could start investing in $50 million coasters, like a little extra.
So then what do you think? Do you think Dragster or whatever it's going to be is just going to do the same up and down and brake run? Or do you think there could be some more extra track, like a few thousand feet of track added to that?
No, let's give it the same ride. There's no need. I think what's going to happen is, like you said, I don't think it could cost $20 million. They didn't remove much. You think a whole launch system could cost $20 million? You would know better than me. I'm not just crediting you.
I kind of just pulled out $20 million. I think they could rack it up to $20 million with the technology. It is expensive to launch it. That technology is very expensive, but it's more what they do to the surrounding area, right? They could, maybe the launch only cost $5 million and they put an extra $1 million into the station and the queue and everything, so $6 million. But if they're gonna go to that extent of redoing everything, I would think, and this is more siding to you, I'd never say this, but
sorry, keep going.
I think they're gonna blow it out of the water.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're gonna really blow it out of the water. And look at the markers, right? Look how far they extend. What is all that for?
Oh, they're not going to extend it, though. Those markers aren't for the extension.
Oh, no. I'm not saying for the part of, for Dragster, but that whole area.
Yes, yeah.
They're going to redo that gift shop, obviously. I think they're going to redo the photo booth. They're probably going to redo that area by Dragon Mountain. Or, not Dragon Mountain. What's their... Iron Dragon.
Yeah.
And on the other side, then you have that river, right? Where they have the river adventure. I bet you they're going to spruce that area up. On the other side of the launch track.
If they do get new trains, it will be expensive. Yeah, the trains can be upwards of $1 to $2 million each.
Yeah.
Trains are. We learned that at an ACE event, didn't we?
Yeah.
Trains for B&Ms are $1 to $3 million, aren't they?
They said Behemoth's trains were $1.1 million each.
That's crazy.
So that's
crazy. Oh my god.
So it will be expensive, and another thing Altoro Ryan brought up was the loading, right? He even brought up something that maybe it's going to be like King Dakar, where dual loading platforms, and if it's like that, you could have 5, 6, maybe even 7 trains on that track just constantly loading and going. And the beauty with an LSM is you don't need to wait for that recharge time, right? Because the recharge time in a hydraulic launch is you need those accumulators to fill back up with the pressurized nitrogen. You need it to get to a certain pressure. You need the cable to return, and all that could take 2, maybe even 3 minutes depending on the temperature. So there would be that little bit of latency, but with an LSM, a train goes and you just keep sending it as long as you can keep providing it with electricity.
E-stop. No, I'm kidding. Let's scroll down. Will it draw a crowd? I personally, we disagree here. We disagree.
This is going to be good.
I don't think it's going to do much for the attendance. I really don't. People who have already rode Top Thrill Dragster, I don't think it's going to draw on anyone new. You disagree. You would go there to ride it. I wouldn't.
I personally think it's going to, especially if it is an LSM, it will be the fastest LSM on the planet, so they could market it like that. I think a lot of people are going to want to experience that, at least within the coaster community. And most people who go to Cedar Point are pretty fond of coasters at this point, I would say. So.
Yeah. I guess. Oh, this is a good one. This is a lot of you guys have been asking these questions. If I don't answer one of your questions either, it's because it's coming up. So we're trying to stay on topic too, because if we upload this to Spotify and stuff, we don't want to be there to be too many interruptions in between, because then people are gonna be like, wait, what are they answering? But okay, so 2023 season at Wonderland and Cedar Fair. So Cedar Fair success. Why is Cedar Fair? So I've heard both. I've heard some people being like, oh, Cedar Fair is gonna have its worst season yet. Again, Siri and I have information now that would discredit that, at least with Wonderland. Wonderland's probably going to have its busiest season they've ever had in 2023. So, guys, get your all-season fast lane.
Yes.
It's going to be insane. 500,000, 3 weeks ago? 500,000 gold passes. 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, already 500,000 gold passes for Wonderland.
That's just gold passes. Like, a lot of people still buy the regular, I don't know why, but they still do. And, that's... Like, guys, it just turned 2023, and they're already at 500,000 gold passes. Like, there's probably another 100, 200,000 people who are still on the fence about it, right? So, I know a lot of people were always asking, and wait time, update time. I don't... There was a point in Wonderland where you could go on a certain day and just know it's not going to be busy. You could ride Leviathan 30 times without waiting in anything. You knew it wasn't going to be busy. I think those days are gone. I think like school days now they're obviously not going to be as busy as a Saturday in July, but on a school day in like May or June, I still think you can expect to wait 30 to 40 minutes for Leviathan, Behemoth, or Yukon, whereas 5 years ago you could stay on the ride. So I think the days where the truly dead day is gone, unless there's something with the weather or special event happening in the city. But it really looks like Wonderland is becoming a very, very busy place, and overall that is good for the park. That's good for Cedar Fair, but I think some people are also starting to realize that, and they're like, hey, maybe I don't want to wait 3 hours for a 30-second, 40-second ride. Again, that's not necessarily Wonderland's fault, but they provide such an affordable option, right? Like, how much is a gold pass?
$99 usually, but it's like up to like 110.
I think it's 140. It's between $100 and $120, and that gets you the entire season. Regular summer season, Haunt, Winterfest. For under $150, you get admission. Like, where else can you go and experience the level of entertainment at Wonderland for that price? Nowhere. There's virtually nowhere else in the GTA.
Yeah.
So, they are offering an affordable deal, I find, and I know still some people may struggle with that price, and that's fine, but Wonderland is very accommodating. They have payment plans. I'm doing a payment plan myself for my pass.
Well, it's like our passes are fully loaded.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
So the payment plan makes things very affordable, and I don't think everyone realizes that right away. But there are a lot of options when it comes to that, and Wonderland really makes it accessible for everyone, because that's what they're targeting, right? They want...
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, I see a comment. It's going to translate to a lot of money. I can say before the 500,000 passes, unless Cedar Fair knew that was going to happen, Wonderland has a really good 5-year plan. Like, there are a lot of money that's going to be shoveled into Wonderland. Sorry, you didn't believe me, 2 years ago? I used to say, just wait and see. Wonderland's going to get the most amount of money for their investments, last year? And you were like, no, there's no way, blah, blah, blah. And now you see it. You see it. Like, Wonderland really is going to be heavily invested in. It's really cheap for Cedar Fair to invest into Wonderland right now, in terms of investments. It's also a park that has infrastructure that is not designed to handle the crowds. So no matter what, Cedar Fair has to invest in it. We see that with the new restaurant. You're going to continue to see food investments, because I'm telling you right now, as someone who hated the food department about 8 months ago, I can probably sit here and say I've been pretty impressed lately. And I hope that translates into next season. Because, but there's a lot of money. Outside of that, the attractions that Wonderland are going to get over the next 5 years are going to be insane. And you're going to see, I don't know, I think you and I could probably agree. I think we have different wants. But what we know is coming next for a big coaster, whether it's going to either be a mock double launch or a wing coaster. The version of the wing coaster we can debate, but
it's going to be mock or B&M.
Yes. It's going to be big. It's going to be another $30 million coaster. No matter what. It's going to be another $30 to $35 million coaster, and it's going to be heavily themed.
Yep.
And the flat rides that are coming are going to be insane too. They're going to be good. So it's good. I'm really excited for Wonderland's future, and there is definitely a front gate reno coming. Without a doubt, we have told it's happening. It's not happening like at the beginning of the season. We were told it's scheduled, but it wasn't anytime soon, right? It was sometime in 5 years.
Yeah.
I think that's slowly gonna get bumped up, because
I mean, you can see it this summer, guys, with the lines and a lot of the videos on TikTok and just anywhere on Facebook, wherever you look, the front gate was a disaster, and that's not because of the employees' fault. They're working as fast as they can, but I think it's just not designed for that volume of people.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be a new thing where, the park is going to expect to see 30, 40, 50,000 people on the daily, like Brendan said, they're going to need to start updating that infrastructure to accommodate that. And one of those things is, how do we get people into the park faster?
Caption is here. So we talked about... Okay, so why is Cedar Fair and Wonderland having such success with these numbers? Because I don't think you guys understand. 500,000 gold passes is insane. Even if that ended, which it's not, they're going to get up to probably 600,000.
If that. Just gold passes, guys. Yeah. Just gold passes. There's, day tickets. There's the regular passes, platinum passes, which probably isn't too many. Then there's, bring a friend.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It really is impressive.
So how is Cedar Fair able to do that? It's simple. Pricing point. Cedar Fair, in fact, their stockholders are actually getting a little pissed at Cedar Fair over this. It's the cheapest pass in the industry right now. It's the cheapest pass. They have the cheapest price points, which is insane in my opinion, because Six Flags being more expensive than Cedar Fair with the crap product that they have to offer is insane. But it's working. It's working. You saw it, Halloween Haunt and the summer season at Wonderland was absolutely insane this season. And people have less money now than they did before what's going on in the world right now. They have less money, and especially next year they have less money. So families aren't able to go to Disney World or Universal like they used to. They're not able to go to Vancouver, British Columbia, Alberta. So Wonderland is now becoming
a staycation
that local staycation for families that... Okay, well, we can't go to Blue Mountain this weekend anymore, because to go to Blue Mountain for a family is insanely pricey. Wonderland's pretty pricey, too, if you don't get the food plans and all that. But if you're a smart family that lives close to Wonderland within a 3-hour radius, you get that fully loaded pass, and it becomes the cheapest thing your family can do all summer. And I think families are cluing into that.
Another thing I think that's happening too is in the summer, parents obviously have to work, and if they have kids who are 12, 13, 14, well, how do I keep my kid occupied? Well, I'll just buy them a gold pass to Wonderland. They can go to Wonderland 3-4 times a week. They're somewhere, safe. They just hang out there, and then they can come home whenever.
Yeah.
It's almost like free babysitting.
Yeah. And then what else is so successful is the additions that Cedar Fair are building. I don't care what anyone says. Tundra Twister was the smartest thing Wonderland could have put in, because I don't know if you my TikTok alone, if I post Tundra Twister, it goes viral. And the reason it goes viral is Tundra Twister is like that 4D free spin where people look at it and they're like, that looks weird, but cool, but also scary. So the average person, people are sharing it. They're like, oh. So, and that's an animation, a really crummy animation too. Animation isn't really imagine when it's finally built, 150 feet in the air, that's spinning. People are gonna TikTok out of that, and it's gonna do well.
They put it in the right spot too, in between Yukon. Like, that's going to be such a cool near miss photo video. Just staring at it like, oh my god, look, you're going 150 feet in the air when you're 10 feet next to that loop. That's also 120 feet in the air.
Yeah. And you know what? Thank you, Natalie. I'm going to touch on this. This isn't part of it, but Wonderland deserves a lot more credit. I guess I should say Cedar Fair. But they deserve a lot more credit for what they did for their pass holders during COVID. Because we really, I know they screwed us over at the end there, but they didn't have to do what they did for us. Like, we got, what, a year and a half of free passes?
Oh yeah.
That's insane.
And actually, funny side note, if you're an American who bought a platinum pass at Wonderland, because the U.S. parks didn't close for a year, you actually got almost 3 seasons free.
Yeah. So that was cool. Wonderland and Cedar Fair deserve a lot more credit for what they did for us, because that was pretty cool. And I think, I think guests need to understand that too, because a lot of people got angry for cutting us off out of the blue. There should have been a thing. They should have cut us off sooner, in my opinion. But there should have been that thing in between. But yeah. Someone asked a question here, and I wanted to. Oh, will Tundra Twister have Fastlane? Yes, it will. I don't even need a confirmation for the park. It will have it. There's no way it won't. Watch it not have it now.
I think it could actually be a Fastlane Plus edition.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That'd be smart on their part.
Yeah, 100%. So, the additions. Snooping Racing Railway.
Yes.
I think it's great. I know a lot of people are like, that's not what we needed.
You know what? So, okay, I'm...
Bazooka.
I wanted a real roller coaster. No, I do. But, here's the thing. It is not marketed, it is not designed, it is not anything. It is not supposed to be, a 200-foot B&M or 200-foot Mocker or whatever. It's not supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a junior coaster, a kids ride in the kids park. And if you ask me, that's probably the coolest kids ride ever built. Like, it's going to launch you at 50 kilometers an hour. It's going to do the loops. It's going to have 2 launches. Like, that's friggin' awesome. And I still personally think the adult park draws in more, disagreements. But for anyone with kids or anyone who's ever walked through the kids park in the summer or just during any time, mostly in the summer, it is packed in there. It is a zoo. Like, you see all the strollers, you see all the people in line for the rides. So I think this is going to be a very popular edition and a much needed edition. Like, I know it's mostly teenagers, but a fair bit of families also go. And this could be something more exciting for even the parents, right? Like, if you're a parent, do you really want to sit on Taxi Jam? This might offer a more level of excitement for the whole family. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a really good place to go. Yeah.
And people are worried about capacity, as I see in the comments. And that's a rightfully... Because we're hearing rumblings that we may not be allowed on the coaster. That Wonderland, to limit the amount of people that get in that queue line, it's going to be like everything else in Planet Snoopy, where you need a kid to accommodate you to ride.
Which, at the end of the day, guys, I know for, the coaster enthusiasts, yeah, it sucks we can't get our credit, but just remember, it is a kid's ride at the end of the day, designed for the younger ones, because they can't go ride Leviathan, they can't go do that, we can do that, so just remember that, it's not designed for us, it's not meant for adults, it's not meant for the enthusiasts. That's one of the reasons Wonderland is so successful, because they're accommodating to everyone, right? And this is just one of those ways they accommodate to everybody.
How long is the ride cycle on Tundra? We don't know that. We don't get that kind of information. But I'm gonna guess it's gonna do one cycle one way, one cycle the other way, and then it's gonna do half a cycle like Shockwave does. I hate that half a cycle it does on Shockwave.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna come back down. What it should do is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then maybe another 1, 2, 3. But it's not. That's
which Lumberjack actually does 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I think Lumberjack has the best cycle.
Yeah. So, fingers crossed. Knowing Wonderland, they might do the 1 and a half.
And we're done.
And 1 and a half.
I
stop.
do want to address, though, I think Wonderland does that, especially in the summer season, to make things speed up, to make lines go faster.
Mm-hmm.
So that like it's give and take, right? I would personally wouldn't mind waiting longer for a longer ride experience, but I feel a lot of people get antsy if they see, oh, that's a 45-minute line that's not moving. You know, this is terrible. This attraction's terrible. This park is terrible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like it's a psychological thing, which I don't agree with, but I think a lot of people have that mindset.
I do know information on the new coaster. So the coaster trains on the new coaster will have one extra row of seating, if I'm not mistaken, one or two. I can't remember. One. It's going to be what's already out there. It's going to be one or two.
To the one in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be 1 or 2 rows longer for better capacity, but it's not going to go around twice. So Wonderlands will only go around once.
2, 4, 6. So how many people will it seat again? 18?
Yeah. And I think Wonderlands isn't going to do the backward launch either. I'm trying to remember what someone at Wonderland told me. But from what I understand, it's just going to launch, do a cycle, and stop.
Which, if you look at the POV of the one that's already built, it's not even really a launch. It's just to make it go back so there's more train to shoot forward. Sorry.
Oh, no. We don't know the height requirement of the new ride, unfortunately.
Of the kids ride or Tender or Twister?
Either or, if you know.
I'm sure the kids ride will be very accommodating for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Probably not toddlers, but...
Future attractions, what we actually think versus what we'd like. Okay, so this is interesting because we kind of have an idea of what's coming, so it's kind of cheating. But what would you like future? I'm gonna give you a side eye. Your whole time talking, I'm just gonna be side eyeing you.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna e-stop you when you go too far. Is there e-stop button, by the way?
Yeah, if someone gets out of hand, we need to push that. So get ready to push that. So, what would I like? Realistic, like, I want 3 things: a B&M launch wing coaster, a B&M invert, or a GCI. I think a GCI, a GCI is a wooden coaster. I'm sure most of you know that, but the only place I could see something like a GCI going is behind Whitewater Canyon, somewhere along that service road in that forest. Maybe have it flying over, similar to Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. If we got a GCI, I think it would be that size. But, what do I want the most? A B&M launch wing coaster. Just, guys, imagine, 130 kilometer an hour launches you into a 200-foot Immelman loop. Then you do a bunch of crazy twist turns, maybe some inline inversions. That would be personally, like, I would never get off of that. Or a B&M invert like Banshee. But I know Brendan has different ones. Mm-hmm. And remember, this is what you want, not what we're in reality going to get, most likely. Okay. So what do you want?
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about what we're actually going to get soon. Okay, what I want is a GCI in Whitewater Canyon. I also want a mock power splash.
Oh.
A scream and swing.
More flat ride.
I do want a flying theater. I know, and it makes sense. I think that a flying theater would do great for Winterfest. And I definitely want a mock extreme spinner.
His are very realistic to what
I know.
His are very realistic.
What do you think we're actually gonna get now?
In reality, I don't think there's much chance that we're gonna get a B&M launch wing. I would love that. We're probably gonna get just a regular chain lift wing coaster, very similar to Gatekeeper. Maybe flies over the front gate, does something, maybe 20, 30 feet taller. I think there is a possibility, within a certain amount of time, maybe like more in the future, of a B&M invert. I could see that. Or then a mock extreme spinner. Where that would go, I have no idea. Mm-hmm. I think Brendan... Well, you definitely... You would know the best out of
mock mock extreme spinner would be a hard place to predict where it could go, because it could work anywhere. We do know that Wonderland is eventually going to bring back the international themed section of the park. Yeah. When? That's up in the air. But we know that they have their eyes set on it. Even... We can't ever say names, obviously, but people higher up in the park have said that their eyes are set on that. Mm-hmm. Some people think it's Action Zone is like their most beautiful section of the park. But that being said, what I actually think is going to happen, and I won't say anything in order because I feel like that needs to be my own video. I think that you're going to see a flying theater or a dark ride added to Action Theater very shortly. I'll say that. Very, very shortly. I think that we're definitely going to see a... This is where I differ. I know we're going to get one of the two. I hope I'm wrong, but except for a mock. We're going to get a mock extreme spinner or a wing coaster that goes really high, not your launch. This is where we differ. And the reason I know that if we get a wing coaster it's going to be tall is someone that no longer works at the park but was like in a really high position of the park, I think blessed Craig and I with a perfect plan that Wonderland was going to go down, and he's been right about everything. Mm-hmm. Like, he told us about the restaurant Lazy Bear Lodge in 2018, and it came true. So, and he told us about I can't remember now. Frontier Canada, and how it was going to be like a continuous growth plan with the park. And that action theater was... So this is the thing. He told us in 2018 that action theater was going to be developed a lot sooner than we thought. And this was before COVID. So I think that action theater was always a part of the plan because of Winterfest. But COVID kind of made them... Like, Wonderland needed to do certain things. And now I think it's going to come into play. Mm-hmm. So we're definitely going to get either a wing coaster or a mock extreme spinner. We're going to get the flying theater. We're going to get Splashworks investments no matter what. And we're probably going to see a Scream and Swing, or we're going to see the same expansion that Carowinds got. It's going to be either or. It's going to be what Carowinds just got exactly fitted into Frontier Canada to just give it rides. Yeah. And I think a great place for a new flat ride is going to be... Do you know the old viewing area for Whitewater Canyon?
Yes, right by the entrance off to the side.
I think a flat ride there would be perfect. So it's gonna be either or. It's not gonna be both. We're either gonna get a Scream and Swing. Our park seems to be very against Zamperla for right now, for some reason.
Scream and Swing is S&S.
Yeah, and then what was the other thing? There's one thing I'm missing. Flying theater, water park, mock extreme spinner, or wing coaster. Then we're not gonna get.
Well, you didn't really address on the water park.
I know. Okay, so our replacement part for the water slide will be arriving in April.
I think there's going to be something done with Backlot. I think an upgrade.
Oh, the restaurant. 100%. Yeah, 100%.
There's going to be more restaurant upgrades.
Okay, so what's interesting is how I get my information is I do have sources that work in both the industry and at the park. I am getting fed information that is almost countering each other. So I've been told we're due for a coaster in 2024 now by a trustworthy source. I personally do not see it. And I'm pretty good with knowing, I know where to look for construction. Yeah. If there's something at Wonderland, I'll see it before anyone.
So I was actually a little bit against you before. I thought there was a possibility, but now with what's going on with Dragster, I think we're going to be...
And then, if it is a coaster, it's going to be another filler, which is not a good sign. Yeah. You do not want a coaster in 2024. I'm telling you right now. If we get it in 2024, it is a very bad sign. Because it's going to be like a 4D free spin. It's going to
be under, probably $10 million.
Yeah. So we want it to be 2025. I personally think it's 2025. No questions asked. Nothing. We're due 2025, and we're going to start seeing signs next year, which is good. If we start seeing signs next year, bless it be, it's going to be a $35 million coaster. Yeah. So that, when we go into the park next year, I'm not riding rides. They can go ride their Leviathan. I am heading right to Frontier Canada, and then I'm heading to Flight Deck and Time Warp, and then I'm going to head over to Wild Beast. And those are going to be the 3 areas I'm going to visit. Maybe even Dragonfire. Which we're going to talk about soon. But yeah, there's no signs of a 2024 coaster in my opinion. But my sources are telling me I'm wrong. So I'll say that. Very counterintuitive. Yeah.
So I said Zamperla flats are too small for CW. I think Zamperla is going to be having a lot of change.
Yeah, Zamperla has new designers, right? That are enthusiasts.
They're going through... If you don't, you guys should follow Zamperla's TikTok. It's actually pretty interesting.
By next year, I mean next season. Like 2023, we should see signs. But we're not getting a coaster in 2024. In my personal opinion. My sources say I'm wrong. But yeah. Next for this topic. Future attractions. Well, we just answered that. New additions at Wonderland. Will they draw a crowd? What we think. We kind of answered that already, didn't we?
Yeah.
What do you think about Wonderland's direction with theming?
I'm a roller coaster dragster. I'm a roller coaster enthusiast. I could go without the theming, but I think they are slowly moving towards more of a theme park rather than an amusement park. I still personally think, the big $30 million adrenaline rides will draw the most people in. But again, things are changing, right? And I think we're really going to see that with Snoopy's Racing Railway, because like the buildings and stuff from the renderings, they actually look pretty detailed, so they have an opportunity. And because it's geared more towards kids and families, I think it would be in their best interest to actually, up the theming, like as a wow factor for kids and stuff. So I think we could expect to see a lot of theming there. Even Tundra Twister, like that's probably going to look pretty sick. I'm excited to see the queue line, what they do with that.
I've already been told it's going to be Skyhawk.
Oh, it's going to just be like
it's just going to, yeah.
Oh. And
it's going to be on the Timberwolf side.
Oh, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So the entrance is probably going to be like the old smoking area.
What I think Wonderland's heading down a really cool theme path, and I think, honestly, Frontier Canada's going to be put to shame when they finally go back to their roots in the international area. That's what I'm really excited for.
But I think Paramount screwed that area up, right? Like
yeah.
That beautiful, what Backlot used to be.
Oh, yeah.
They had a garden and a waterfall and everything.
I'm excited. Like, I love Frontier Canada. He knows it. I, love Frontier Canada. But I definitely think that the international area will be even better. Yeah. I'm so excited. So excited.
It's going to be nice. There's a lot of space and there's a lot of things they can do there.
Medfair is beautiful. Like, a lot of people don't give it enough credit. I just think Wonderland needs to, fix a few things like Drop Tower and Speed City.
Yeah, those have no business being there.
I almost think that Wonderland building a restaurant where Speed City sits, themed to medieval times almost, would be really so cool. Yeah. Not with the jesting and all that, just the medieval times theme.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like a castle.
Eating with your hands too, forcing you have to eat with your hands too, like medieval times does.
Serve more chicken.
Bring back Zuma Flume. So someone high up at Wonderland, the head of construction and planning at Wonderland, has said that he has always wanted to bring a traditional log flume to Canada's Wonderland. So you never know, you might actually see it.
Several times.
Yeah. They already force you to eat with your hands when they run out of cutlery. Well, this gives them the perfect excuse to get away with it.
Yeah, environmentally friendly.
All right, under new theming, blah, blah, blah. Oh, intermission. Okay, it's break time, so if any of us need to use the washroom...
I've been holding it for a while.
And you can grab yourself in the Nimo bar or Lemon Loaf.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Yeah. And then you guys can ask questions. We'll only go one at a time. And we'll answer questions in between. Sari's about to break the whole stream.
Oh, I did it, guys.
If you guys could see here it looks all neat and put together. The behind the scenes area is wires crossing over, because we have 3-4 computers going. Doing streams is hard, and then we have my internet hooked up Ethernet, and there's just cords everywhere, and then we have the professional lighting. So it's thing. Ask your questions. What's the next coaster to be removed? We have a whole topic of that coming up. We were trying to keep this an hour and a half. We just hit an hour and a half, Surya. So, yeah, so it's probably going to be a 2-hour stream. I'm really close to the mic, so tell me if I'm screaming in your guys' ears. Did they run out of sticks for cake pops? Did they run out of sticks for cake pops? What do you think the ride for Tundra Twister will look like when it's done? I think it's going to be beautiful. Do you guys follow me on Instagram? I posted in the workshop of the company the paint job of Tundra Twister. It's beautiful. I actually think it's going to be Wonderland's best looking flat ride, if not ride. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think Surya's yelling at me from the washroom. Oh no, that's just him flushing. Will Tundra Twister's line have theming? No, but you will have beautiful rocks to sit on and eat your meals on in traditional Wonderland format. Will Surya still go live tonight? Yes, Surya will still go live tonight.
Very nice smelling soap.
You're not. Thank you.
I'm gonna grab it in an animal bar.
Can you grab me a lemon loaf?
A lemon loaf. Which
But
side?
the right side. So in the fridge, this side. If you grab me the wrong side, you're gonna kill me.
Okay.
Love this. How often will you guys be doing these streams? We'll be doing these streams every weekend, and hold us account, guys. Hold us account, because again, I almost chickened out of this one.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I did. I almost chickened out. Where is Krega? Krega is moved on from theme parks and roller coasters. He is living his life. What?
You might need to make a video on that.
Yeah, maybe I should make a video. He's just different world. Krega's in a different world now. No drama, no nothing. It's just Surya is the new Krega. He's good looking too.
Holy, what? I'm a model. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm doing model things right now as we speak.
When will we see drone footage of the construction? So we drove by the park today, and I need to get the drone up immediately tomorrow. Let me tell you that. So good question, because there is cranes on site, which usually means there is track. I turned on notifications, Amusement Insiders. The caption. Good. And did you return your Lindor chocolates and shop from my store? Are you allergic to anything? Surya. I'm allergic to Surya.
It's true.
Yep.
It's because I'm good looking. It's actually because I'm skinny.
You're skinny?
Yeah. I'm eating my protein bars right now.
Oh, protein bars.
Yep.
Are you sure they're not Nanaimo bars from my store?
No, I don't know what that is. Okay, let me bring you your lemon loaf. Oh my god. It looks so...
This better be from the safe
I
side.
swear to God, well, we're gonna find out soon.
But guys, if I get sick in like 30 minutes, he killed me.
Okay, everyone close your eyes. I'm situating myself. Oh! That was a little...
Did you let it out?
No, no, I don't. What are you doing? I sat down in my bag.
Do I have a Discord server? I do. It should be in the link of a video. Maybe not this one, but it should be in the link.
I think
you got a whole 4 Nanaimo bars.
Look at the size of his lemon loaf. What are you talking about?
Cool, you didn't bring us pop? Where's the Coke Zeros? Also, the Tundra looks high. That emission. Oh, yeah, it's really high. Why is there an unsafe side? Okay, so what had happened was I work for a cool store where, when we discontinue product, we get to take it home. So I have 2 things of lemon loaves. One of them I left sitting out overnight, so it's gone bad. And I am one of those.
In the fridge.
I'm one of those people that when you see a mess, instead of putting it where it belongs, like the trash, I throw it in the fridge or something to hide it. So then I have a safe side where the lemon loaves have remained refrigerated, and an unsafe side where they have not remained refrigerated. Yeah.
Smart.
Merchandise this season. I need to get a new website. So basically what had happened is I have really cool merch.
Leviathan stuff, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, he does.
I have cool merch. It cost me $80 a month to have a proper merch site that does everything for me. Mm-hmm. And the product, everyone who wanted to buy it had bought it. So $80 a month became not necessary. The masks. We don't talk about that.
Really nice.
How does Wonderland rotate their food? What jobs do you guys have?
So, I work for a small engineering firm. My technical job position is a structural engineering inspector. So, civil engineering field.
A store manager. Someone sending me pictures of us in the stream.
I look skinny, right?
Me.
These are so rich.
I'm just like you. You're just like me. Oh. Okay. You come out.
I saw you guys at front gate on opening day.
Oh, wow. That's good memory. Okay. 5 more minutes of questions while we have our little break.
You don't need to use the washer?
No.
What's wrong with you? You just keep it all in? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We were in your video on opening day.
That's cool. Saw you guys at Winterfest, going to Med Fair, POV peoples. They call it Fireland.
Top 5 ride removals. Go for Red Dev of Space.
Well, I think we're going to talk about ride removals next, so stay tuned for that. Maybe save your question for that. Surya, please share with the class why you want more B&M. I want a B&M launch wing because, well, first of all, I don't think the surf coaster is going to be that good for a launch, but Thunderbird is a great B&M. Like, I know, it is a wing. The launch is good. It's whippy. The inversions are tight. It has a great layout. It really keeps its pacing well. So I was very surprised with that. And I want a B&M invert because that is one of my, or maybe my actual favorite model of roller coaster. I really love Banshee at Kings Island. I think that is a phenomenal ride. I can't name a single flaw with that ride. Even older B&M inverts, which I know we won't get, but like, eat your lemon loaf. New B&M restraints and everything is so comfortable. They're so accommodating. I just like it. And it's reliable. Guys, how many times have you gone to Cedar Point and stuff doesn't work? I saw you guys at Winterfest on Surya's birthday.
Ooh, do you think Wonderland will ever work with RMC? No.
I hope not. I think Cedar Fair might be done with them. What was the last RMC? Still Vengeance.
Oh god, we look so ugly eating. I don't want to eat.
I'm actually getting kind of full. I might save that for the drive home.
That's bull.
You shut up. This is professional. I have chocolate on my face.
Oh my god, I didn't even think.
Well,
what if the microphone is picking up our eating noises? That could be triggering people.
ASMR.
No, oh my god, I'm so sorry guys. If you could hear us eating.
This is turning into a TikTok live.
We're going to talk about, we need to add that to our list in the next stream, uncontrollable costs that have affected editions and paint jobs and stuff. We'll add that to the next stream.
That is, we could talk about a lot of that.
Yeah. I'd rather get a GCI over a B&M or Mach. Shut up, Kaden. This is why you're not in here. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, you would want a GCI
I'd
over
prefer over a B&M, not a Mach Extreme Spinner.
Okay, yeah.
They're beautiful.
They are. Another reason I think B&M too is just capacity.
Do you guys live close to each other? Well, I live in Aurora and he lives in Brampton.
Like 25-30 minutes. Put it all in there. I want to know.
The skinny people left one.
Kaden, how does this make you feel? Same. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people want RMC. Retheme ideas, new paint schemes. I miss Vortex's blue trains. Oh yeah, they used to be blue. You're right. You know, Vortex used to take videos of you.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
This is mine. When did I open it?
I don't know. Mine's down here.
Does that taste weird to you? Maybe it's because I'm eating a lemon.
Maybe the lemon loaf was the one thing that tasted weird.
Did you try and kill him?
No, I didn't.
All right, guys, we're about to get back on topic.
Oh.
Ah! Screenshotting that. Someone literally just sent me this picture.
It's really attractive.
Yeah. Yeah, stop. Stop taking photos of us.
Screen record!
We already don't want to be... We're swimsuit models, though. For Marineland.
We've already been live for an hour and 40
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Wonderland's 5-year plan. We got our time, 2 hours. We're ending.
Okay, well, yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
What do you want in the next 5 years at Wonderland? Did we already cover this kind of?
So we'll just speed run. Major roller coaster. Obviously, that's going to happen. Infrastructure improvements like restaurants. We're inevitably going to get a water park expansion. I actually wouldn't be if we got a cool. I have a water coaster. That's what I want. I would love a water coaster.
The capacity.
It's what I want. It's what I want.
Oh my god.
B&M. What about you?
So no, I have beef with you. You've been on this whole B&M, like you want a B&M, but come summertime, I'm sick of B&Ms. So it's all B&Ms. Like, oh, it's just a B&M heaven.
We have bad B&Ms.
Oh my goodness! Now suddenly you want a B&M. What happened?
Well, you know, if things medically don't go well, at least I can still ride a B&M. Is
that it?
Maybe.
Is it the medical store?
I'm a little concerned.
Oh my goodness.
We'll see in April what I-305 does to me, but if it does something to me, at least I know B&M won't kill me.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. Okay.
I would love an Intamin, by the way, but I know that's not happening, so.
I know, Velocicoaster.
Yeah, I would
without
love
the theming, Wonderland can't afford the theming, but...
Like an Intamin Blitz, like under, or just anywhere, like, that would be, I think everyone would love that, and that would be so successful, but we know... I don't think Cedar Fair will ever work with Intamin again, and I can't blame them after what happened the last 10 years.
That's true, Intamin enthusiast. That's true.
Oh, that's CJ.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
hey, CJ. I didn't know that was CJ. I love CJ's content. It's comedy. I love it. Okay, what do I think? You guys already heard it. Like, I made myself clear, so I don't want to repeat myself, but... okay, so what do we think our 5-year plan is going to look like compared to Kings Island, Knott's Berry Farm, Carowinds, and Cedar Point? Kind of, like, sum them all up.
Okay, what do you think?
Oh, I just cut myself.
Good. Okay, we're way off topic. Brad, okay, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Well, you already know what I think, and I've proven myself right. We're going to be the most invested in park. I think that's going to continue, and I think we will see the hotel eventually. Give me the eye roll. Give me the look. Give me the look.
Made up hotel.
Oh, a made hotel with blueprints and everything. He thinks that this hotel doesn't exist. He thinks it doesn't exist.
I love Brendan to pieces, but we're not getting a hotel.
He thinks I made this up out of thin air. Did you just spit your drink out?
No, I didn't.
But I have thoughts about Guardian. I think this is why some people at the park don't like me, because I learned something recently. Surya would have a suite there. He would. You know the funny thing is, they're gonna build the hotel eventually, and he's gonna be the first person.
I would.
He's gonna be like, "There's no point in driving 20 minutes home. I can just stay at property. Who cares that it's $600 a night, like the hotel breakers at Cedar Point for the smallest room with no room service." So I think that Wonderland is going to, outside of Top Thrill Dragster, obviously, is going to get the biggest coasters, or coaster, because again, 5 years, there's only going to be one. And we're going to continue down the path. Wonderland gets multiple things. Carowinds actually one of the few parks that recently have got a big, right? Wonderland's usually the park that gets those, like...
Well, how far back are we going? Because when they built Fury, they gave Carowinds $50 million for, 5 years, and that included Fury. It didn't include Copperhead. It included Fury, the hotel, the front gate, and the water park.
Yeah, okay, but add in, technically, our Yukon Striker, the restaurant, and all that,
Oh, no, I wasn't rebelling.
Oh, okay.
I was...
Rebelling?
Rebuttaling.
You're supposed to be rebuttaling. This is the whole point of this.
Okay. No. Now, this is where I think Kings Island is going to get a major roller coaster before we do. I sincerely think that.
That Kings Island?
I think Kings Island, Carowinds, or Kings Dominion is going to get something $20 million or more in 2024. That's honest to God what I think.
Well, okay, so there's gonna be another park that gets a coaster. You're right about that. Yeah,
I think it's going to be one of those three. I think it's
it's gonna be King's Dominion.
I think it's most.
I just made you think now.
Yeah.
I just made you think.
I was going to say Kings Island, but when did they get? Orion was 2020.
And remember, they begged for Orion. Remember, Cedar Fair didn't want to give it to them, so you have to...
And they literally gave them the bare minimum of a
Yeah.
giga, so... I don't know, I think it might be Carowinds.
There's a chance.
For maybe even Winterfest purposes.
But I think Carowinds might be the same year as Wonderland. I think I could see Carowinds and Wonderland it being 2025.
$2 $30 million
if it isn't,
attractions at one part at the same year.
They've done it before, haven't they?
Just in 2010 with the both Intimidators. They've never done two.
Wonderland and Carowinds have been 1 year off. So I personally, if Carowinds isn't 2024, then they're going to be 2025.
So you think it's going to be like... Okay, so it's... The only thing now, when you said King's Dominion, is because they got rid of Volcano. Tumbili wasn't a replacement for Volcano. There was even a rumor, something about a wing
really
coaster.
small wing coaster. Did you see it? It was like 100 feet tall. Not even. Was it like 80, 90 feet, 100 feet?
Well, King's Dominion's attendance kind of does reflect something like that, to be fair.
It was like $8 million. So actually, yeah, I don't think if King's Dominion gets it, it's not going to be something major.
But King's Dominion does have a gap to fill.
I knew it. We were the same year.
Were we?
Yeah. I knew it was real. We were 1 year apart with the B&Ms. The hypers, and then we matched for thing. Thank you, Brayden.
Wait, I swear I thought Copperhead was 2018.
That's okay. It's okay. I'll punish you later. Wait, that sounds weird. Imagine Dorney gets something before. There's a chance. So again,
I don't think Dorney's gonna get anything.
I think Carowinds and Wonderland are gonna be matched up again for 2025. So then it's gonna be Dorney or King's Dominion.
I can't see Dorney getting anything. I can see them removing stuff. I mean, they removed Stinger.
When is Cereal Park taking over Marineland? We're going to talk about Marineland next podcast. Okay, we need to stagger things. Yeah.
Okay, but I think Kings Island will get something. I'm going to say the next 3 years they're going to get another $30 million roller coaster. Just because it's Kings Island.
I like what they're building next year, though.
Oh, yeah. The theming,
I do like I like that.
I can't wait to see what they do with Adventure Express. That might be actually Cedar Fair's most themed ride.
I loved it. Remember?
Yeah.
I loved it.
It'll be 6th best.
I thought I was gonna hate Kings Island.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was gonna hate Kings Island. I'll give you that. You won that. But see, I'm not biased. I didn't stay in my hard little. It's my favorite park now. It's my favorite
Cedar Fair
seasonal.
park.
Like yeah. I'm shaking the camera.
You are shaking the
Shut
camera.
up. Ride removals.
Well, okay, you start because you have a strong idea.
Okay, I screwed up one of the rides, guys. Wild Beast. I still think it's due for a ride removal. It is not getting removed next year. So after... How do I word this? After talks recently... it's not getting removed at the end of next season, or at least I don't think so anymore. But I think we need to keep our eyes on Dragonfire. Those 2 construction trailers, like, why are they placed there? We didn't see them get used yet either.
If they get rid of Dragonfire, I think that will almost 100% be for a mock. Because what else could fit under
what
there?
else could fit there? Yeah.
Like, it would be so perfect. And there's a lot of space under Leviathan. Like, under Leviathan's lift hill, there's probably, 10 acres of space that they could play around with under there.
Yeah.
And a mock would just be perfect.
And Flight Deck and Time Warp are definitely on the chopping block. Mindbuster needs something done to it. Whether it's a complete retracking or something serious happened to it. We won't go in detail. Wonderland, again, sit us down in your office. We need to talk.
High caption.
Something happened to Mindbuster that probably would have gotten a little more attention to the park to do something to it.
If we weren't so properly trained.
And yeah, So again, Wonderland. Okay, so the thing about Wonderland is all the other parks have been removing attractions here and there, right? Especially Kings Island. They've been doing that. What Wonderland needs to do now is removing some of those older attractions and replacing them with something else. Wonderland's been sitting here like, we're gonna keep everything, and now they have what's a really good top line, and then they have just this like collection of trash. Well, and I don't mean that in like a harsh way, but it's really a collection of trash. It's outdated. It's not serving its purpose anymore.
Even when that stuff first opened, it was always second tier.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like as one of the largest amusement parks in North America, maybe even one of the largest amusement parks in the world, we shouldn't have some of the stuff we have.
Exactly. And Cedar Fair has been showing a history of removing aero coasters, have they not?
Yeah.
So Dragonfire to me is one that I've been watching at the start of this season. Even at Winterfest, did you see me? Like we would walk by it and I'd be like, because there's these 2 construction trailers that popped up near it. And they haven't been used yet, but they're just sitting there right near the station. And I'm hoping, I thought we would start seeing signs this season of like markers or stuff. I'm hoping next year we see something. Now, the problem with Dragonfire is maintenance-wise, it's been kind of a breeze for the park.
And we just got parts from Kings Island.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, one of the trains to, what is it? Vortex is sitting in our thing, but that could be for the Bat. They did invest money in the Bat. So we know that's staying.
That's true.
The Bat isn't going anywhere anytime soon, no matter how many problems it's having. They've been putting money into it. The station, paint jobs.
Oh, yeah, they redid the roof and everything. Yeah. There is also, though, not quite Wonderland related, but a rumor that Anaconda at King's Dominion might also be on the chopping block, which is another aero looper.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep eyes on Dragonfire. Flight Deck and Time Warp are going to come down when the park wants to invest in the new thing. It wouldn't make sense for them to do anything with that area until the plans for international.
Much as I hate it to say it, that would be the perfect location for a B&M wing. Imagine that flying over front gate.
Again, yeah. I think we're going to get that, what Carowinds got, a $50 million 2-year, 3-year package soon for our front gate, a wing coaster, and international.
Oh,
like,
okay.
To start, like that restaurant. And then they'll do what Winterfest, or Frontier Canada did. It'll be like a 5-year expansion. Frontier Canada's almost done. I think it's difficult to say. Like, I think one more major attraction, whether it's a coaster or a water thing, the Action Theater isn't completing it. It's due for one more thing.
Maybe even like a restaurant or something back there.
One more ride. It's either like Tundra Twister isn't completing Frontier Canada. No way. Something in Whitewater Canyons area is going to complete, or a renovation of the log thing.
Oh, Timberwolf.
Yeah. Something. I could see even a mock power splash finishing off Frontier Canada.
Get rid of Timberwolf for a mock power splash.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if that's enough.
Timberwolf is starting to like age. Like, yeah. We know a lot of leaks. If you guys walk by it in the summer, really get a good look at it.
Yes. The drop towers are also being all removed. So I could see Wonderland upgrading their drop towers sometime in the next, like, 5 to 10 years.
And our drop tower has a lot of problems.
Yes. Yeah, as Jordan just said. What would you like to go? Did you say what you think will go? Did you?
I mean, we have the same opinion.
Okay.
Dragonfire. Like, I don't think there's... What would I honestly like to go, for me personally... Soaring Timbers.
Yeah.
What's that noise? I think you just creaked the glass or something.
I hope not.
So wait, what would I like to go, or what do we?
What would you like to go? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I would personally like Soaring Timbers. I would like Drop Tower in replace for a newer generation Drop Tower, something like Falcon's Fury. I think that would be friggin' awesome. And Speed City. I would love Speed City to go. Mm-hmm. That's probably like no other Cedar Fair park has that. It's outdated. It's archaic. It's an eyesore. It makes Leviathan smell like a mechanic shop in the summer when it's hot out. It needs to go.
Damn, you have personal beef.
I hate it. It's an eyesore.
What's an eyesore again?
Speed City.
Oh, yes.
Speed City. It's terrible.
Okay.
It makes us look like a fair.
Yes. So very similar opinions. I would like to see Speed City gone for sure. Flight Deck and Time Warp gone. Kingswood gone.
Well,
Dragonfire gone.
Half the park at this point.
And Wild Beast and Mindbuster gone.
Mindbuster gone?
Like, gone for a while. You're going to hate this, but I think Mindbuster needs to go for a massive water park expansion. Our water park is leagues behind our competition through Canada. Like, the Ottawa water park and the...
Calypso.
And the Brampton one, Mississauga one.
Wet and Wild.
Wet and Wild. Yeah. Like, we're leagues behind. So I think, unfortunately, Mindbuster needs to be removed for a water park expansion, because that's a lot of land.
I would like to see Wonderland do what Kings Island did to the Beast and just do, like, a complete retrack. Like, you know, spend $2-3 million on it and just completely redo it. But I don't think that's going to happen.
And that's it for topics.
Yeah, guys, that was crazy. We went a little bit over the time we thought, but I think...
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we could spend like 5-10 minutes answering questions. So, what questions do you have for us?
Okay, no. What did you guys think? How did you guys like the way we delivered it? One thing I feel like, I think we were pretty structured. There was one point where we started going off topic a bit, but...
I like it, though. We can call it Derailed.
Why
have we called the stream that? Oh, that's so much better than Bickering Thuzies. Derailed.
I think a big question we should ask is, would you guys want to see this live again? Should we keep this as a live format?
I kind of like the live format.
I kind of like the live format, too. It's a little more personal and interactive. And if we stall or get derailed, you know, you guys are always here to bring up new and exciting points or get us back on track.
Yeah, I feel like just talking to, like, if we were just talking to that camera right now with no one interacting, we would kind of, like, it would be a little more awkward.
It would be more monotone. Like, this feels more organic.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like we are actually talking to people right now.
Okay, so we'll answer a few questions. Which park got Orbiter? No park got Orbiter. It's in the trash.
Although they had it on sale for a while.
Yeah, they did, and no one bought it.
I remember the motor sitting by Behemoth.
Honestly, it sounds a lot like a proper podcast. Thank you. That's like a huge compliment, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Because we were really nervous about that. I remember you were like, "Do you watch podcasts? Do you know what to do?" And I was like,
I watched a whole bunch of podcasts before starting. I'm thinking in my head, "Oh, I can't do that."
Wonderland Talk is great. Love format. Transfer track. That's a good name too. I like Derailed though.
I like Derailed.
Yeah. I think we need to change it. We were gonna call it Bickering Thuzies, but I feel like we're not bickering as much as.
Oh, you know what though? Maybe in other topics we will, but I think we're actually pretty in line with this.
Where is Skyrider? It's in a park in Italy. What's the park called? Do you know?
I don't know the park, but it's called Freestyle.
Yes, that's in Italy.
What are some topics that you guys might want to see in the future, like in the next few weeks or months or whatever?
Yeah.
Like what are things you want us to discuss?
And if you guys aren't, follow Amusement Insiders, plural, on Instagram, because I'm going to post questions, like a little question sticker on our story, again, usually like 5 days before the stream, of something you would like us to talk about. Honestly, I'm kind of looking for people. We kind of have a little team. The moderators are in here. We're in a group chat. People that can like look at industry news too and keep us updated, because sometimes we might miss a story. I gotta stop drinking pop during these lives because it's like, I'm like trying to burp, but I'm trying to disguise it so you guys don't hear like some gross noise.
I miss Miner's Revenge. It was an awesome haunt. We could do I think we should do a haunt.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah. Next week we'll do that.
Mindbuster rides.
What do you think would work in an Orbiter spot? So the problem with that is Wonderland seems to like this new path a lot. So
I hope they don't. Yeah, I hope they keep that path. That's fair. And you know what? This could actually be a whole other topic, as the infrastructure of Wonderland. We briefly talked about it, but I think Wonderland's paths, some of them are a little too narrow, so we need more pathways.
Yeah, so if any of you are on Instagram, message me. Because I would we can even create a group chat for these lives for people that are going to be in here regularly, and if you guys want to help out with giving us news or topics to think, that'd be awesome, because this is new for both of us. We're both out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
But we both really have a desire, a huge passion. We both are should we talk about it? Okay.
We're transparent.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna be transparent with you guys. We're not liked. Amongst content creators at Canada's Wonderland, people think we're the biggest
problematic
a-holes and problematic people there are out there. But what's funny is, like, yes, we have had our times where, so I've been wronged a lot in my life, like wronged a lot, where I've been bullied and I never stood up for myself. And it's kind of turned me into this person now where I kind of don't accept when someone does something wrong to me. I find it really hard to just accept it. So when people in the community have done something wrong to me that I felt was wrong, I kind of get into a really angry state where I'll like call them out. I'm working on that because I do want to not call people out publicly anymore. I do find that toxic and see that. But I also don't see the wrong in defending yourself. But it's doing that has caused people to think we're problematic and kind of discount our side of the story too. Like, a lot of people are like, well, you're in the wrong. There's always two sides to the story. We were in the wrong, they were in the wrong.
And I do want to mention that, you know, when we realize we're in the wrong, like, we're not perfect, right? And like, even, you know, we've had our own problems this summer too, but we always try and come up with common ground somewhere, either repair something that needs to be repaired or just address it. Mm-hmm. We don't want to stew about things anymore, right? So we've always been like, you know what, if there is a problem, we're open to sitting down with someone and saying, hey, how can we all share this space together and make it a safe space for everybody?
Yeah.
And again, we're not perfect. We have caused some problems and we've been a part of some problems, but and you know, everyone, there are two sides to a story, so this is not me trying to toot our own horn, but I think we've been pretty neutral in, you know, in saying when we were in the wrong versus when we weren't in the wrong. And our goal has always been just to provide a safe space for the community. And not everyone can come to the table with us and sit down with us, which is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, we want to move on to make our own content, not only for you guys, but even for our own mental health too. Like, you know, I'm sure you can speak a lot on this, but you almost stopped making videos. You still haven't made videos, and a lot of that was from problems within the community.
Yeah.
And you addressed those problems, but, you know, certain parties didn't want to see that, and it's really unfortunate that we can't see eye to eye. But you know what? Now we're at this stage where we've done our part. We've extended the olive branch. If they don't want to take it, that's on them. But we are going to continue forward with the content we want to make and with our lives.
Yeah, and it's just like we have that. So the enthusiast community has been pretty, like, it's funny. Like, it's gotten pretty toxic where, like, people call Surrey and I jealous, or people, like, will, like, kind of say things that are so far from true about us. That's fine. There was one rumor that was going around about me, and I put a hard stop to that. I was basically like, this needs to stop now, or I'll get, like, thing, because it was coming out of nowhere. But the other part of it is working with Wonderland is really difficult, and we learned that this year because they hold us to a standard that isn't fair, and you have that being held to a standard that you can't really like Wonderland kind of sometimes expects us to make videos that are only positive about them. And if we do that, I remember there was some people calling me biased, if you remember last year. Yeah. People were like, you're biased, you're a biased source, your thing. And that's true, because I was being silenced. I was being held to a standard if you only post positive. So then that kind of got to me, as everything does, because I am sensitive and everything does get to me. You can vouch for that. Like, I'll cry over the smallest little thing. And so I started not being biased. And then when I started not being biased, Wonderland got upset. So it's that. And then you have Wonderland workers, a whole nother breed of problems. If you say you don't like this show, or you don't like that restaurant, or the thing, like, you have a whole group of people that suddenly don't like you. And when you have people that work at Wonderland that don't like you, it's not fun. Like, even our experience at Winterfest this season with the Canterbury team, like, it was so childish. Like, so childish.
It was typical third grade bullying.
Yeah. I made a mistake of posting a story about an experience I had at Canterbury. Again, working on my not ranting. I had an experience. I was in the wrong for this experience. basically you weren't allowed to film this season anymore in Canterbury. And my channel, I always filmed all the shows and I would post them. I was upset, and I felt like it wasn't handled right because they came up to us. Like, there were 2 wrongs there, but I was definitely more in the wrong. They were coming up to us like every 30 seconds. Yeah. Stop filming. But don't film. No clips over a minute. But then they'd come up to us after 10 seconds of filming. So then I got upset, and I posted about it. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why can we not film? And that upset the team. Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. I used my social media platform to say a bad experience I had at the park. I then posted, if you follow me, an apology. I posted an apology. I really was sorry. I definitely saw their side, and there was a whole story I didn't know either about why they were doing that. And I posted an apology. Well, I thought that would be the end of it. I even posted a lot of compliments about entertainment through Haunt. Come Winterfest, the team at Canterbury, every time they saw us, would giggle, laugh, and shout at us. The rules. Like, if they saw us coming, it was like teenage bullying. Yeah. Like, it was horrible. There were days where we felt uncomfortable. They didn't hide it either. Yeah, no, they didn't hide it. It was right in our face laughing. But yeah, it got ugly. And it was difficult. So we're hoping, next year we're going to go into Wonderland with the understanding that whatever you post comes with consequences. Mm-hmm. There is consequences to every action. So we're going to be a little more careful about what we post. But also we're not going to be biased. And again, if there is information to share, we're not going to fear the consequences that Wonderland might have. We're going to be journalists on Wonderland, exactly what we're supposed to be.
And the other thing is, if we say something that offends somebody, we're not targeting you. We don't want to offend anybody, but we're just reporting on something, basically, right? Like, we're addressing something, and we want to be as unbiased as possible. And by being unbiased, someone may actually, most likely, will get offended. But you have to understand that we are not targeting anybody. We don't have a problem with any certain one individual, right? When we post about a problem or something, so it's not personal. It's nothing to do with someone's personality or anything like
that. But Jim, also, you don't need to talk to the head of entertainment. They probably don't like me either. From what I understand, a lot of people in entertainment are upset with my post and something that happened in 2019 at Haunt. The security video I posted. So I understand their side too, and it's going to take a while to repair that image. So I'm not in the right. I'm not sitting here saying I'm in the right. I 100% understand, but the unprofessionalism after my apology was a little upsetting. Mm-hmm. But they don't have to accept my apology either. But there's ways to act when you don't like someone. You don't do it in the workplace. Like, if I was doing what they were doing at my current job, I'd be fired. Yeah. I'd be fired in a heartbeat. But should you become a write-op? Yes, you should.
They're hiring.
Any more questions, guys? Everything works. Is the audio crisp? We have a Yeti here, and just want to make sure the audio is really crisp. Like, good crisp, not like iPhone quality audio.
And do you guys like the setup, like the way we're positioned, the background, and just everything? Like, should we...
Yeah, we're going to have more decor, too. Yeah. We're going to have more... We were trying to get everything super crisp. Awesome. But...
We also had, a 10-minute debate how to sit down. So we're sitting down in, a couch and a reclining chair. But we were like, do we sit in stools and sit up like that? Or are we a little more relaxed?
Haven't we been to Hershey Park?
I love Hershey Park. He hates Hershey Park.
I hate Hershey Park. I think it's so overrated.
I love it. One of my favorite
But parks. I also am the only person that thinks that. So I'm obviously in the wrong. I can accept...
No. It's your opinion.
No, but when you're the only one that has that opinion, it's clearly something was biased about my visit that's not accurate.
Steel Vengeance sucks.
Tell them that. No. You exposed my Hershey Park opinion. Oof. Wait till you hear his opinion. No, we're going to have that in next week's episode. We're going to have that in next week's episode. Steel Vengeance is going to be a whole... No, it's going to be bickering Thuzies next week, let me tell you.
I'm down. Yeah, let's go.
I'll win.
Fury, guys. Fury for the win. Hershey Park is my next park. I want diabetes.
That's Matt. Oh, I get it. Hershey Park. I was like, oh my god, we're being called fat at the end of the stream.
You have to remove drop tower. The thing with drop tower is like it doesn't really take up any real estate, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like Windseeker, you know, that it doesn't really. So excellent. Could we lose a couple Kingswood tents? What do you like? Could they tear down Kingswood? Is that what you're asking, Mr. Excellent? I think eventually, yeah, they're probably gonna definitely repurpose that area. I would love to see another front gate there, actually, like a second entrance. I think that would be perfect.
I'm like Snapchatting on the.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I think a second entrance there would actually be really cool.
Have a good one, Jim. Awesome
Bye,
having
Jim.
you in here. Yes, good questions.
What's a scrapped noodle coaster?
Wicked Twister. Yeah, it like
Wicked
honestly,
Twister was a better ride. It was the third best ride in that park. And you know what? They got rid of Wicked Twister claiming they wanted to open up the beach, and then they built this built this ugly wild mouse. It's not even the good model. Food services are terrible. I don't think they know how to train people.
I got in trouble for speaking
Yeah.
my mind.
When will CW get an RMC and Hershey Park is overrated?
Yes. All right, guys. 4 more minutes of questions. 4 more minutes. We'll end this right at 2:15.
And we were worried we wouldn't have enough content.
I know,
We
I
were
was
worried
like-
we wouldn't have.
If it's like Banshee, I'd love it.
Oh, here, someone said, which podcast apps is this going to be posted on?
Probably, I don't know how it works. Again, we're new. I'm going to look into iTunes and Spotify. I don't even think we need to do iTunes. Does anyone use iTunes anymore?
I think Spotify is.
Spotify, yeah. I'll look into it. Thoughts on Niagara Amusement Park?
What is that, Marineland?
That's that new rich guy that bought the amusement park and is building that coaster.
Oh, yeah. I've actually been there once. Their wooden coaster isn't that bad. Silver comment.
So heels, like, this is what pisses me off about you. This is what pisses me off about you. I've actually been to that park. That little shitty wooden coaster isn't, it's not that bad. Steel Vengeance is a horrible ride. It's not even that good. It makes no sense.
For what it is,
It makes no
it's not
sense.
that good. Raptor's better.
Have you been to Six Flags Junior Lake? Yes, I have. It's all right.
I haven't been there since Six Flags bought it.
Do you know how the fire started in Splashworks? I feel like we're not legally allowed to talk about this
Yeah,
fully,
maybe we should.
but we think it started from an electrical fire under the building for Pump House, but we don't know. We don't know. So this is all speculation.
And that I don't think they would. Yeah, done with that. I like to talk about our tires. That I would like to talk about.
Remove Thunder. It was on fire like the Raptors speaker. Thunder Run's fine now. It's good. Don't worry. It's actually pretty normal what happened, to be honest, minus the fire.
Yeah. I will be live as soon as I go home.
Like right when you go home?
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to. So go home. No, I'm kidding. I like your lives. They're distracting.
It's not another Krega thing. Pretty sure iTunes costs money, so
Okay.
I'd
What's your channel? My channel is Amusement Insiders, and
mine is Surya K325 on TikTok. I don't have a YouTube.
my friend saw something odd when the fire alarm in the theater. What's your channel? We need RMC, but Hershey Park Enthusiast is a cool kid. Have you guys did coaster and yeah, it's horrible.
How we did what?
The coaster at Clifton Hill.
Oh, I've never done that actually. I don't want to pay $10 for
Will
that.
Craig ever go to Wonderland again? Craig still goes to Wonderland, but with his girlfriend, and he doesn't really go to Wonderland outside of that.
I don't think he even went. We could probably count on one hand how many times he went this year.
Yeah, 100%.
Like 4
Yeah.
or 5 visits this year. I don't even think he bought. Did he buy anything?
He bought a pass, but I don't think
buy
he bought all
Fastlane?
season Fastlane, which means he's not.
Yeah, he can't. I can't.
Yeah.
Mr. Silva, would Flight Deck from Great America fit nicely Wonderland's flight deck currently is. I think flight deck at Great America is a little bigger because that's a B&M invert, but I'm sure they could make it work. Flight deck, actually, our flight deck has a huge queue line.
Oh, it's Chantal! Chantal, where have you been?
Chantal! Queen Elizabeth was overrated. Run and finish the line first.
Oh, I know. Braden was like, we could see the Snapchat faces. All right. Any other questions? We're gonna end this, and then Surya's gonna go home, and we're gonna go live on his TikTok. So Surya,
K325, previously Coaster Citizens.
oh, Eurofighter would be cool. Then I realized I need a YouTube app. All right, guys. Well, I think this was great.
This was a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, I was expecting fails and glitches and it not working.
I was kind of worried we would run out of content, but we went over 45 minutes what we originally thought.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
We'll try and get it down to an hour and a half, I think is a nice healthy time frame.
Well, now I think the problem is we did get derailed a little bit, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because it's stimulating conversation, but maybe next week we can do more of a script or something.
What's your how do I spell your TikTok? Oh, that's Snapchat. One sec.
Mine?
Yeah, it's Surya
K325.
Perfect. All right. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, guys. This was so much fun. It's nice to be professional.
Yeah, I like this. We're going to keep it live.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do this every week. So subscribe. I know you all are subscribed. Never mind. All right.
What time every week? Around 9?
Yeah, around 9. And we can't have a day because, again, his job, yeah, he has weekends off. My job, like, I work occasionally like a Saturday or a Sunday, so it's
probably going to be a weekend day, like Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, the podcast.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you for watching.